Joining us on Rock and Blues Review this week is Billy the Kid Evanochko, who is, of course, Billy the Kid and the Regulators, a multi-award winning band who has become a favorite in Thorold, and this year he's returning to the Canal Bank Shuffle as one of the headliners. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning.
You've been on the road a lot lately, you say?
We have for sure. I mean, I can't complain. It's been a little grueling, but I'm glad that I get to do what I love to do.
Yeah, not everyone gets to do that for sure. Now, you first came to Thorold back when you finished third at the IBCs, and that year was a bumper crop. There was Ghost Town, Mr. Sip, Jerika Singleton, just a crazy good group that year, and you guys were right up there. How did that feel at the time?
I mean, it felt great because, you know, of course, it felt great to place, but more so than that, to be able to be listed, on the same list and ranked with people that I revere and that I'm friends with, more than just peers. I mean, I always say, it's a blues family. We're family. Me and Castro, we laugh about it all the time. It's Mr. Sip. You
Yeah,
know, everybody's like, well, how did you guys meet? And we're like, well, we graduated in the blues together. You know?
right, right.
Yeah.
I know. And Ronnie Baker Brooks said a very similar thing when I asked him, about the competition. He goes, "No, we got enough trouble without competing with each other, so we're family."
Right.
And that's exactly what he said. And he's a great guy too. Now,
He's a phenomenal guy.
and you've got a ton of collaborations and friends. Uh, y- you've been getting around for a while now.
As much as I can.
Yeah, I mean your friend list and the photos you've got on your website are amazing. So you are in Pittsburgh. Are you born and raised there?
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. I'm actually right now speaking to you from New England. I moved up here when I got married.
Oh, when did that
Yeah.
happen? I missed that. Where's my
Yeah. I
invite?
mean,
Where's the invite?
it was, we went to a town hall and just did it. My wife's name is Rachel, and
Nice.
she's my favorite person on the planet.
All right. Well, yeah. You didn't mention that. Now, I saw you in Florida last year, and actually, I ran into you in Florida a few times.
Hmm.
Uh, and so that's great news. And when did that happen?
December 5th, 2024.
Wow. All right. So now let's talk about you a little bit. You've got a great gravelly voice. Yeah, you're great in the guitar. How did you get into it, and how did you discover you were good at it?
Well, I got into it. My dad came home once. Like, my dad used to work for the airline for US Air in Pittsburgh, and he was a very big blues fan. And he came home with a video, a VHS tape, Stevie Ray Vaughan live at the Elma Combo, and sat me down. And he's like, "You should watch this." And as soon as I watched it, my jaw dropped, and I'm like, I looked at him. I said, "I'm going to do that someday." And he laughed because I didn't play guitar then, but it changed my life.
And how old are you? What year were
I'm
you born?
I was born in '76. I'll be 49 this November.
Okay, that's amazing because I was talking to Matt Schofield earlier on, and he listed a whole bunch of guys born around 1977, including him, who are influenced by Stevie Ray. So it continues.
The whole generation, man. Matt's great.
Yeah. Now, you picked it up at what age?
Actually, I've been singing since I was 5 years old, but I didn't touch a guitar till I was like 22, 23.
Really?
I was in the military for 11 years in the United States Air Force.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
when I was stationed in Texas, and that's where Stevie was from. So on the weekends, man, I would drive up to Austin from San Antonio, go to the Continental Club, go to Antone's. I think I saw Gary Clark Jr. when he was like 14 years old,
Really?
and he was great then. Oh yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing. You saw Stevie Ray video at the El Macambo in Toronto.
Yeah,
And
right.
was that with Albert King?
No, that was his, like, I think that was his debut gig. It was just him, Tommy Shannon, and Chris Layton.
Okay.
And this was like right when Texas Flood had just come out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, because he did do one, although I think that was in Hamilton with Albert King. That was a great one too. So, if you picked it up so late, how did you get so good so fast?
well, I mean, truth be told, I pretty much slept with the thing
Yeah.
every day. It was just me and that guitar. That guitar saved my life.
How so?
Well, when I got out of the service and I first started playing, it was a big new thing. Here I am out there, making noise, and I made the mistake that a lot of young artists do. And I got caught up in cocaine and whiskey. And I've been in recovery now for 4 years. And what got me through it all was the guitar, playing music, you know. I try to talk to people about it, at shows when people come up to me, young kids, and they ask me about, any advice. And what I tell them all the time is stay away from the dark side.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get caught up in it. It really is. And, you don't need that stuff, you know.
And and how do you put up with the touring, the driving, and the hours?
Um, honestly, that's the price that's called paying your dues. That's the price you pay to do what we get to do. And then, you know, it could be grueling at times, but every day I thank the good Lord above that I get to do this for a living. And I try to, do my music, make music with a message that can help people. I
Right.
mean, if you're not doing it for that, you know, you're not going to last very long. Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than you are. You're just, it's about being a piece of and being a part of something bigger than yourself. And that's the trick. A lot of when you're young in this thing, and you start getting some acclaim and some accolades, it's very easy to get caught up in it. And start believing all the hype and forgetting where you come from. I've made it a point to never forget where I came from, and I count my blessings every day that I get to do this. Because at any point, it could be taken away. It's a gift. It
Right.
really is. And if you don't protect it and you don't respect it, you'll lose it.
Right. And I can attest to the fact that you walk the walk because you put up a lot of inspirational, motivational, philosophical messages that you share all the time. So, uh, like I said, I can attest to the fact that you walk the walk.
A lot, I put those quotes out there as motivation for myself because if I say it, then I have to walk. If I talk the talk, then I have to walk the walk. So every
Right.
day, even when I'm having a day where I'm down and I'm feeling low, I still have to put that out there into the universe to keep myself on track, to keep myself on the path where I'm supposed to be and stay in alignment.
Right. So you're coming, I think this is the fifth time to Thorold. Do you know if it's
I think it's the fifth. I think you're right.
and what do you think of festivals like this one?
Oh, I love that festival. Tim Sinnott, man, I miss that man. That man he broke me in Canada. He's the guy that first brought me there. That's where I think it's how we met.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah, oh for sure.
you know, he believed he believed in me. He used to get a kick out of me, and he always gave me the opportunity. You know, so I'll always be forever grateful for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tim knew his stuff and he knew everybody. He knew every band. So and you've got some friends here too, though. People who follow you
I got
constantly,
a lot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got a lot of friends up there I wouldn't have met those people and made those friendships had it not been for Tim bringing me up there.
right?
I love that area, St. Catharines, Thorold. I love the people. Here's what I like about that scene up there. You know, there's a phrase we call it wallpaper gigs. It's when you get you do a show at a brewery or something like that, and you're just background music, or you're just a live jukebox. And that's not the case when you come up there. People up there, they're engaged. They want to hear your music. They're there to see you and listen to you. And it's like, you know, it all goes back to that old saying, whether it's two or 200, you give people the same show. They deserve it. They're there to support you. And if you're not doing that, then you're shortchanging them and you're shortchanging yourself. So you have to respect it.
Well, yeah, and again, I can attest to the fact that you always put on a great show, and we've had you at the
Thank.
Shuffle and in the Battlefield,
Oh yeah.
and the Blues in the
Great
Battlefield.
crowds, great fun.
Yeah, yeah, they appreciate you, and they do come for you. There's no question. So let's talk about your music. You've got now your last album was or Ain't Got Me
Yeah,
Nothing,
nice ain't got me nothing.
and great album, and I think it did really well. And anything on the horizon,
We actually have a brand new album in the can, and we're working with Christone Ingram, Kingfish.
right?
He started his own label called Red Zero Records, and we plan on releasing our latest album with that. We will be playing some of the songs off it, but we won't be releasing the album until 2026.
Oh yeah. Well,
But it's done. It's in the can.
that's another question I had for you. What can the Shuffle fans expect? Now, you just mentioned something off the new album.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not opposed to playing cover songs because cover songs is what gets every band started. You have to learn, the other different styles, and you and use your influences, and hopefully that will help you grow and progress, in your musical journey to start, doing your own music. But I could tell you this: I could probably, if for an hour set or an hour long or 2 hour set, however long it is, 3 hours, I guarantee you it's going to be between 80 to 90% original material, which I'm very proud of that because finally I'm at a place in my life where I have enough original material to really, express me and to represent who I am as an artist, you know, and it's hard for a lot of musicians to do that, to break out of your comfort zone and be able to, to put it out there and bare your soul, because nobody wants to feel rejection, but you have to be able to take that risk, you know. But I'm very confident about it now. I feel good about it. I'm in a good place with it.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think there's any question that you are where you are because of original material. I mean, cover bands are playing the bars and they're not going anywhere. And, your stuff is at the IBCs. Let's talk about that for a second. Everyone wants you to do one or two covers to kind of set a benchmark so people know what you can
Right.
do. But after that, if you're not doing original, you're going nowhere. And clearly, that's not you.
No, that's not me.
And your
I
stuff
agree.
and your stuff is really good, and there's no question about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And,
I think that I try to grow every year. We try to take it a step further. You have to grow, and some people, you got your blues Nazis that are like, well, it's not 1 4 5. It's not a typical blues structure. But I look at the philosophy of this. The blues is a living thing. That's what everybody says, right?
right,
So anything that lives grows, and anything that grows changes. So I try to make it, use all my influences. I don't shy away from my rock and roll influences, my country music influences, my blues influences. You know, I always say I'm not a straight up blues artist. I'm a blues influenced artist. Blues is my, like Willie Dixon used to say, blues is the root and everything else is the fruit.
right,
So that's where that's what I try to keep that in mind, and stay true stay true to the art form. You know,
right,
it's important to me to be. It's important to me for credibility purposes, because if you're not credible, then you're just playing a role, and you're not being yourself, and that's one of the hardest things for artists to do, is to be able to have the confidence, to take that risk, to just be yourself. And I fell short of that for years. That's the reason why I was doing drugs and alcohol. Because I didn't I don't want to say I didn't understand, but I felt like I needed that to be able to express myself, and it actually was hindering me from growing as a person, not just as a musician, but as a person. You know,
right. Well, I'll tell you, the more people that I talk to in these podcasts and in the Blues Rock Review interviews, and these guys are successful and they're all fairly comfortable in their skin, and they're all saying what you just finished saying. All the influences, they're not afraid to embrace, they're not afraid to cross genres, and I think that is the key. And you sound like you got it.
I appreciate that. I mean, right now, the way the blues is in the blues world, you know, for us to be able to carry this on and keep this genre alive, you have to be able to expand your audience and get younger folks. You hear so many times people, oh, I don't like blues, it's all depressing. And then I'll play a show and people are like, oh, that was great. And I'm like, well, that was the blues.
Right,
That's the blues. Well, yeah, think about it. Structurally, it's the blues. You just, you're not, you don't, there's such a generic, stigma to it, to people that have never really dug deeper into it, where they think blues is just this one thing. It's not. It's so much more than that.
yeah, I know. For 20 years with the shuffle, I had that battle. with promotion, trying to get people to understand there's so many different
Right.
kinds, so many different influences. So, yeah, I know. I hear you. Now, I've got shots of you playing in the streets in a number of cities. Thorold, one of them in Florida. You really
Yeah.
get up there.
Yeah.
How much fun is that for you?
It's it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. There's nothing better than to be able to be your most authentic self and express yourself and have people receive it and accept it. You know, it's one of the coolest things in the world. I'm very blessed and very lucky. People would live their entire lives grinding out a living every day and killing themselves, for that legal tender, to pay the bills. And I get to do it having fun. And as long as I get to do that, my bank account may not reflect it, but my soul reflects it. I feel like I'm one of the richest people on the planet.
That's awesome. And you mentioned Stevie Ray and you mentioned some genres, but do you have other influences that you were really got you
Well,
going?
the Rolling Stones, no doubt, because I grew up with it. But my parents had really good taste in music. My father was really into Southern rock and Led Zeppelin and the Outlaws and that artists like that. But my mom was really into BB King and really into Boz Scaggs and Linda Ronstadt, Bonnie Raitt. I mean, Bonnie Raitt. I love Bonnie Raitt. I grew up listening. I mean, Bonnie Raitt's part of the soundtrack of my life. Matter of fact, my very first guitar I ever had was a Bonnie Raitt signature model.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, like I said, I mentioned earlier, you've certainly got a lot of those people uh, among your friends. Photos of so many of them that's pretty cool. Is there anybody that you haven't played with that you would like to?
Um, who I'd like to play with? Well, I'd love to play with the Rolling Stones. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, it's the Stones. But um, I'm pretty lucky. I mean, I got to play with Walter Trout 2 weeks ago, and it's not and wasn't the first time. I mean, Walter's been great. Like when I first started, my journey with sobriety. You know, Walter reached out to me more than once, and like I didn't even realize he even knew who I was. And now today, he's one of the biggest mentors I ever could have had. Not just musically, but just like as a man, as an older man that's been around this scene, that knows the pitfalls and everything I've struggled with and have survived and gone through and been very encouraging and very supportive. And, because of the blues, I would have never met these people. So the blues has been very good to me.
Yeah, he's a great one to have, and I see you've been with Albert Castiglia a few times, and he's certainly hot right now.
Yeah, Albert's like my big brother, man. I've known Albert since I started doing this. He's the reason why I started doing I did the IBC in the first place.
Yeah, how did that happen?
We were at the Wheeling Blues Festival, and he was telling me, I was asking him how I could, expand out, and expand my brand and, get out there, like really put myself out there. And he said, go to the IBC. He goes, don't go there with the mindset to try and win. Although you put your best foot forward, but go down to the network, go down there to meet people, be seen. 90% of it is showing up, you know,
Right,
people, it's not like, people have this misconception that some great agent's going to come see you in your local bar. And that's not how it is. You have to go out there. If you want something, you have to go after it. And if you don't go after it, that parade's going to pass you by. And then you're never going to know. I mean, yeah, it's a risk because if it doesn't work out, but it's an even bigger setback to sit back and be like, man, I wonder what if, because you didn't have, the courage to go after it. And I've never been that guy. I've always been like, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I wrote a song about it, nothing to lose,
right.
you know? So
And yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, that year that you came third, that I've been a few times, and that crowd that particular year, that crop of musicians was unbelievable. For you to come third was no easy thing.
no, that was the biggest IBC ever to date. There was never more artists and never more attendance than that. It was the 30th anniversary.
Oh yeah,
It was huge. I mean, Jerika Singleton got signed by Roof Records in the parking lot, didn't even make the finals.
I know.
And for me, thank God he didn't make the finals because I don't know if I could have beat him. I mean, that kid's one of the baddest guitar players I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
that band, he had Ben on drum or Ben on bass, and he had Lanky on drums. And those guys, those are part of the blues family too. I mean, he's one of the most phenomenal blues guitar players I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was great. I was there for that, and I was there when he didn't progress, which that was a little controversial, but we won't go into that right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, that was a great year. I remember there was a band from Houston had a huge horn section. I remember Ben
Yeah, Brent,
Rice.
I think it was, yeah, Ben Rice. Me and Ben have been friends ever since. That's where we met. The
Yeah,
IBC has been great for that. That's how I've met most of these people. And like, you get down there and it's easy to get a little starstruck. And, some people go down there with this competitive nature and they're not friendly and not welcoming. But the majority of the artists that go down there, I've built lifelong friendships from that event. I mean, I go back every year now. I host a showcase every year at Alfred's during the IBC week. And then I go down there and I'll work for Joe Whitmer. Joe Whitmer's great.
mhm.
He's been there. I mean, as long as I've been doing this, and invited me to come work. With the foundation. Like I worked artist management last year for the BMAs. And it was great. I got to be backstage and help with the coordination. To make sure that the production side of it went off without a hitch. I do have some experience with that because I was a union stagehand for IATSE, International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, for about 5 years in Pittsburgh. So I was doing all the concerts, at all the arenas and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I just love it. I mean, whether I'm playing, just being a part of it, you know.
Is there anybody that makes you starstruck?
Um, yeah. And he's a friend of mine, but I mean, when I'm talking to him one on one, like we are, like just as people and as peers, I'm not starstruck. But then when I go watch him play, he blows my mind every time I see him, and that's Eric Gales.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
unbelievable. In my opinion, Eric Gales is the baddest man on the planet playing guitar right now. Him, like the guys that I revere the most, that I think are just, of course, Walter's a living legend, but me and Eric are about the same age. But Eric Gales, Kingfish. But one of my mentors, one of my big mentors from when I very first started, was Bernard Allison. And Bernard Allison, I sometimes I feel like he doesn't get the credit that's due. He is one of the greatest artists on the planet.
You mentioned he's not getting the dues, and you're right. But I'll tell you, his name comes up a lot when I'm talking to these guys. Matt Schofield mentioned him. Muggy Doo
BA.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Colin James mentioned him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he comes up a lot.
One of my biggest mentors was Michael Burks. Michael Burks took me under his wing and really gave me the blueprint of how I operate, how I run my band, and how I carry myself as a professional. You know, he was one of and I miss him every day. Michael was very dear to me, and when he passed, it broke my heart because he didn't even, in my opinion, as great as he was, he never got to really reach his maximum potential. He was taken away from us too soon.
Yeah, we had him booked that year. So yeah, that was a shocker for sure. Now that you've been around, do you got any favorite gear that you'd like to bring with you?
I'll be bringing it with me up there. I had a very dear friend of mine who's a guitar collector gifted me an all original 1969 Fender Stratocaster. I mean, it's $25,000-$30,000 guitar, and he gifted it to me. I would
Wow.
have never been able to acquire such quality instrument, something so special. And I got to tell you, that guitar is different. I don't even have to try to play it; it plays itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll be bringing that with me, and I have the very first vintage amp I ever bought 20 years ago. I still have it, an all original 1964 Super Reverb. So that guitar, that amp, and then I still have my Red 335 that I've had forever.
I imagine you gotta trim down the load when you're traveling.
Oh, I have definitely. You take what you just take what you need. You have to pack light. I always say, pack light, keep my shoes tight. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you, the first time we had Joe Louis Walker at the Shuffle, his guitars got stolen in the airport, so he showed up with no gear. We
Joe was a dear friend, and I played with him in Wheeling at the Wheeling Blues Festival the year before he passed. There's a really cool video of it, me and him going back and forth. We went at it. And you can, if you watch it, because Lenny Bradford, who used to play bass with him, is a very good friend of mine. Lenny sometimes plays with the band when I'm in New England. And It's funny you just brought him up because I was just speaking with Lenny about a week ago, and you know, Lenny was like, Joe loved you, and I mean that just touched me because it's Joe Louis Walker. You know what I mean? He's a legend.
Yeah,
To be able to have somebody of that caliber, and of that stature, number one, even know who I was, but invite me to just jump on stage with him during his set, during his show. I mean, that meant the world to me. And the fact that I have a video of it to show it, I'm very proud of it.
yeah,
It was one of the greatest moments in my career.
yeah. Those are great. Those are great things to have. And you've got a lot of really good videos, and it's on YouTube. It's at Billy the Kid Regulators. So people want to check out your videos. There's quite a few there. And that's important too. I mean, a few years ago, a lot of guys didn't have any good quality stuff up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting better all the time.
Hmm.
But just to mention Joe Louis again, like I said, when he showed up, he had no guitars. We had to wake up the local music store owner and get him to
Yeah.
get some guitars. Fortunately, this guy had a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of vintage stuff. And Joe Louis left the store with three new guitars. Have you ever had
That's awesome.
any weird shit happen to you on the road?
I did have somebody try to rob the van, and I walked
Oh,
out when they were trying to do it. And
oh.
we'll just say, as nice of a guy as I can be, I can definitely flip that switch. Like I said, I was in the military for 11 years.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do. We'll just say that they realized it was not in their best interest.
That's well put. Yeah, I know we had Nick Moss that had to cancel on us once because someone stole his entire van.
Yeah, Nick's great.
I know it's not fun. Now, like I said, fifth year I think coming to Thorold, and you're talking about what the crowd can expect, and I think they've got a really big venue for you this year, which is not always the case in the last couple of years, but that's cool. So hopefully we'll get a great crowd in there.
I have no doubt. I'm looking forward to it. I've made some very good friends, from people up there that not even musicians, but people that are just blues lovers and friends that have come down to even see me in Florida, like yourself, that have even guys that have come to Pittsburgh, made the journey to Pittsburgh to see me play in a local Pittsburgh bar just to come hang out. So, like I said, Thorold and St. Catharines, that area has been very good to me. And as far as I'm concerned, that's my home in Canada.
Right. Well, that's cool. We're certainly glad to have you as an adopted son. Now, I just want to mention one little thing. Your keyboard player, wasn't he the guy who had some time with Roy Buchanan?
Yes, sir. Mr. Fred DeLue. He did. 1978 and 1981, I think he was with them. He was with Roy. A matter of fact, Roy's band was from Pittsburgh. Albert and McLean, Bert Foster, and Fred were the band. And at one point, even Billy Price was singing in the band.
Is there anything you want to say to the Thorold crowd when you're
I just want to say I can't wait to see you, and I can't wait to reconnect with some folks I haven't seen since last year, and I'm looking forward to it. And please come to the show, and not just come support my show, support the other bands because this genre, the way it is, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. We
oh
have
yeah.
to protect it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been trying to get that message out. So it's very cool the paths that get crossed among you musicians over the years, the ones that I've talked to.
Our world is very small. It really is.
Any European plans, trips?
I can't really discuss any details because I don't want to jinx it, but there is some things on the horizon that we've been discussing about going to Europe, going into 2026. I'm looking very forward to that.
And now you're in New England, so it's a bit farther drive for you to come here.
Oh, it's not. That's one thing. Like you mentioned about driving. Like I said, that's the price of admission, and I have no problem paying that due. It's
Yeah.
worth it.
Well, that's cool. All right. So I'll just I just wanted to touch on one thing, and that's the indoor versus the outdoor.
Uh
Now you've done both for us up here. Do you have a
huh.
preference? Do you have a preference?
My preference is just to come to St. Catharines. I don't care if I'm playing a grocery store. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to play for you people.
You mean
I love the people up there.
you mean Thorold?
Or, yeah, I'm sorry. You know what I meant.
I know.
You know what I meant.
And you know what
Just
people are like though.
Yes, I do. I do. I'm sorry, folks. Yes, Thorold. I just want to come. Thorold's been very, very good to me, and
Yeah,
I want to. I just any chance I get to play. You folks have really helped my career and have helped me expand my audience. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't think anybody in Canada would know who I was. You know, so I'm very grateful for that, and I can't thank you enough. And the fact that you guys keep bringing me back, it means the world to me. It really does.
yeah, and they're glad to have you back. All right, so I will thank you for doing this so much, and it won't be long, a couple weeks, and you will be here. And right now the weather's perfect. Let's hope it stays. So you have some nice, safe travels and some beautiful weather when you get here.
Looking forward to it, my brother.
All right, thanks so much. Take
Thank you,
care.
Bob. Take care. Blues and blessings, my friend.
Talk to you when you get here.
All right. Bye bye.